your mother made. Oh,
Let her go immediately.
Take another step, and I'll slit her throat.
Mikush is alive. Nobody has to get hurt.
What do I care? Stay back, I say.
You better let her go, or you'll be in so much pain you'll wish you were in hell. You've stooped so low as to hurt an old tailor and two poor women. Well, I'm in a different league. So, want to try your luck?
All right. Calm down.
Praise be to God.
Look, I know it doesn't look good, but I was in the right. The money they hid, it belongs to me. It's my inheritance.
Yours? That's not what I've heard. It's their inheritance.
Lies. All lies. They had no right to take it. From me and my poor mother. My grandfather, old Svotosh, was rich. He worked the fields all around Messeles. He built a beautiful house. He had many children, but only 2 daughters made it into adulthood. Svatova and my mother, Ludmila. When he was dying, he fucked my mother over and gave the house and all his money to Svatova and that tailor of hers.
To disinherit his daughter like that is strange, to say the least. Did he have a reason to do that?
Reason? Svatosh hated my father. He was just your average poor commoner, but that wasn't good enough for his high and mighty self. Svatova and Mikush got married off in Kutenberg at the church of St. Peter and Pavel. But did they invite my parents? I was still little, but I remember he treated us like dirt. And not just him. We barely had any proper food to eat. Pa had to go work in the mines at Horsham for a few groschen, and he ended up trapped under rubble there. He died a cripple. After that, no one even moved a finger to help us. Not Svatova, not Mikush, no one.
You're damn lucky I came in time to help, Mikush. Things might have ended up much worse.
I only wanted justice. Nothing more.
Tell me one thing. How did you survive what happened in Messeles?
Dumb fucking luck, I reckon. That band of despicable cutthroats. Once they made their way into the courtyard, all hell broke loose. Tried to defend ourselves, but everyone but me fell. So I fled to save my brother and mother, but it was too late. Everything was burning. I took off running and didn't stop until I was deep in the forest.
No matter what you've done, I must admit, I feel sorry for you. I know well what you went through. Your family? What happened to them?
No one survived. No one was expecting it. Once the soldiers entered the village, there was no escape. Their captain caught his eye on my brother, who worked with me in the courtyard. Franz was barely 15. He didn't stand a chance. I ran out to the fields for Ma, but they got there first. All I could hear was a screaming. And then it stopped. I lost everyone. But Svatova and Mikush didn't.
I'm sorry, but your misfortune gives you no right to harm others. How did you join up with the bandits?
My first night out, I slept under a tree. I was starving, so I went out hunting for mushrooms, but then I saw a fire. It was that gang. Captain Loiser was their leader, a big fella. They said they'd let me join if I beat him in a fight. So, I beat him. and they made me their leader.
And what about Loiser?
They buried him in a glade.
I reckon that was no great loss.
I don't know. We didn't really get to know each other.
Drat told me you were attracted to Vendula.
That's not true.
Don't lie. I hear she danced with you, and you were over the moon.
I wasn't. I just... Not so many girls dance with me.
Because you're just a hired hand?
Well, she's my cousin. So I wasn't head over heels for her or anything. No way. I mean, who want me anyway?
I get it. You're alone and desperate. It's sad not to have someone by your side.
You're right.
But believe me, there is someone out there for everyone. It's God's will.
You think so?
Certainly. Try and pray more, and visit the baths. That's important.
I wish I heard that earlier.
But it's never too late to change, believe me. Look at me. I'm just an ordinary village boy.
You might be right.
If you felt aggrieved, you should have found another way. Violence solves nothing.
That's the first time I've heard that. You don't exactly look like the type of man that would avoid, say, torturing an enemy. Or am I wrong?
I need to have a good reason to get violent.
Are you saying I didn't have a good reason?
In any case, you should apologise. You put them through hell.
I won't apologise to anyone. They had a guilty conscience because of what they did to me. If they'd shared just a bit of their wealth, nothing would have happened to them. But they didn't. They fucked up my life. I'm poor and alone.
Enough talk.
Be reasonable. No one died in the end.
I said, enough talk. I know how to end this whole unfortunate situation. Take what I said about rectification to heart, and leave here in peace.
Very well. I was getting sick of the bandit life anyway. You'll never see me around these parts again. I swear. Farewell.
Hey, Hanka!
Where's he going?
I have no idea. I don't get it. Hanka, talk to us. Don't worry. He'll handle it.
You both all right?
My sweet Vendula. Did he hurt you?
I'm all right, Ma.
Thank God. Thanks for the rescue, Henry. And thank you for Mickish, too. The poor things must have suffered. Hanka, that bastard. I hope he'll pay for all his crimes.
I'll let him go.
For God's sake, why? A bastard like that? He's a bandit. He'll hurt someone else. You should have killed him on the spot.
Hanka didn't end up killing anyone.
Oh, stop talking nonsense. Every criminal deserves a just punishment. And I thought seeing my own home burned to the ground was the worst thing.
We've gone through a lot, Ma. So much suffering. We have to leave this place. Get as far away as possible, as soon as possible.
Wait. Did you hear something?
I don't hear anything.
There! Again! Someone's outside. Jesus. It's those bandits. There must have been more of them.
Ma, take it easy. I don't hear anything.
Henry, go and have a look.
It's not the bandits. Look who's come home.
Mikush!
Pa!
You made it here quickly.
I came as fast as I could. I nearly gave up the ghost. I was so worried about the two of you.
I'm so glad you survived. That horrible hunker tried to kill us.
I know. All because of the inheritance. He went absolutely mad.
If it weren't for Henry, he'd have killed Vendula. And then me.
That lunatic. Who would have guessed that about him? He used to be a good lad.
After all that, Henry let that good lad go.
Well, let's hope he never shows up here again. I'm awfully knackered. I need to lie down for a bit. Will you help me?
Of course, Pa. Come and rest inside.
I reckon you're hungry too. Vendula, give him some gruel. It should still be warm.
All right. Come on, Pa. Carefully.
And the two of us should have a word.
Mikush?
Not now, please.
I'm sorry.
What did you want to talk about?
I wanted to thank you for everything. You saved our entire family.
Well, I'm glad I could help.
As you might have figured out, everything that happened was all because of our inheritance, which I hid from the soldiers in Messalis. I understand you've done everything you can for us, but I wanted to ask if you could go and get it for us. You're a strong, capable man, and you don't scare easy, and it'll be worth your efforts. Trust me.
All right, I'll look for it. But you'll have to tell me where I'll find it.
Listen, I'll tell you everything. My memory's not as good as it once was. Our house is the third one on the right when you follow the main road towards Visoka. Anyone entering the village goes by our house. Must have been about 2 days before the tragedy. The neighbor boy ran over and started yelling about how something was coming, that he'd heard it from the patrol on the road. No one believed him, not even his pa. After all, why would soldiers attack a monastery village, one far from their camp? It didn't make any sense. That night, though, I had a strange dream. I tried to put out a fire, but the more water I poured on it, the bigger the flames got. So I decided to hide all our valuables. Only I couldn't do it during the day. I was worried someone would see me. I put all of it in a chest, loaded it onto a handcart, and waited till nightfall.
Did you believe your dream?
Dreams are gifts from God. They can tell the future. Don't you know that? But anyway, when night fell, I snuck out the back of our house with a handcart, making my way through the hole in the fence next to the compost heap. Mikush was supposed to fix that hole a long time ago. But as good as he is with a needle and thread, well, when it comes to other work, you can forget about it. At least it made things easier for me. First, I headed right. Then I turned left, up the path, around the neighbor's barn. It's outside his fence. I had to stop there, because the neighbor's little brat was still awake and wandering around. Fortunately, he didn't see me. So I kept going past a low wall where two paths cross. There, I went left. Once I was safely out of the village, a dog started barking at me, so I had to pick up the pace. Instead of turning right down the path, I went straight into the field there. That handcart was damned heavy, and it was rough going off the path. I crossed the field, making it to the woods, but the wheel got stuck there. I couldn't go any further, and it was pitch black. I lit a lantern and dug a pit to fit that chest. Took me forever. When I was done, I could barely walk straight. The sun was coming up. I left the handcart and shovel there and went back the way I came. I hope those directions are good enough for you to find it.
Why did you do all that work yourself? Why didn't your husband help?
The fewer people know about it, the better. I didn't want to leave anything to chance.
That's all I need. I'll go and find your inheritance. What's the story with your inheritance?
My father, Old Man Svatos, was quite wealthy, at least compared to the rest of the village. You see, he worked all fields and farms around here. He had 9 children, but only me and my younger sister Ludmilla made it into adulthood. And then, when he died, he left everything to me. He wanted to be sure, because with Ludmilla, he was worried she'd blow through all of it.
Why did your father disinherit Ludmilla?
She was quite flighty. She liked to have a good time, if you know what I mean. She was never without a man. Then she brought this hired hand home. Fanos was his name. She had to marry him, as she was in the family way. Svatos threw her out of the house without a second thought, heartlessly. And he never mentioned her again.
Why didn't you help Ludmilla then? Hanka said you didn't care about them. That you left them to starve to death.
That's not true. I offered to help her. I found her a job, but it was in vain. She was mad. Sometimes something came over her, like she was possessed. It was frightening, and it got worse and worse. It seems Hanka has inherited it from her. Those aren't the kind of people you let live in your house.
Why didn't you help Hanka at least? He lost his father after he got hurt in the mines. He must have been desperate.
Fanos? A miner? Where did you hear that? He never stepped foot out of the village. He drank so much, he lost his job, and then fell off a cliff at Simperk. He's a common swindler, and he's delusional, just like his lunatic mother. I hope our paths never cross again.
How did Svatos become so wealthy?
He was a good farmer. When he was young, he worked on a big farm somewhere near Colleen and worked his way up from the bottom to become the custodian. But it's no coincidence he ended up in Mezoles. He was close with the old custodian of the Sedlets monastery. They were friends. Sometimes you've just got to meet good fortune halfway.
What did he do with such a large inheritance?
What do you think? I took care of it the way Pa wanted, so our Groshin didn't just roll away from us. So our Vendula would have a good life, a good dowry, and a good husband. At least someone as good as my Mikush.
I'd like to know more about Meseles.
Those are sad memories.
You know, I've been through something similar. Sigismund's army burned down my hometown. Skalitz.
My lord! Thank God you managed to save yourself.
Unfortunately, very few of us were so lucky. My ma and pa stayed behind.
I'm so sorry to hear that. What would you like to know, Henry?
I know reliving it isn't easy, but I'd be interested to know how the attack unfolded.
Like I said, we were prepared for it. Unlike the others, the soldiers came from the main road. First the horsemen. They cut down anyone who stood in their way. Then came the first flaming arrows, and the roofs began to burn. The horsemen then stormed the farm, and that's all I saw. May God save the souls of those innocent people.
You said you were prepared, so someone warned you?
I already told you, Henry. A few days earlier, the neighbor boy was shouting about how he had heard something was going to happen. And then I had the strange dream. So I decided to get ready, just in case.
Did you know where you'd flee to?
I did. I remember this old hut by Billiny. A long time ago, the Lord's huntsman and his family lived there. When the forest fell under the ownership of the monastery, he had to move out. It was empty for years, and now it's our home.
What was Meseles like before all this? Was it a big village?
I wouldn't call it big. Maybe back in my father's day, but not in recent years. As more and more silver started coming out of the mines, people moved to work in Kutenberg. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nobody left to work in the fields soon. But what can you do? That's a question for the custodian. And there's no reason to ask now anyway.
Was there anything peculiar about Messales?
What do you mean?
Well, something worth looking for, I mean. Something the soldiers might have wanted.
They didn't attack us for our buried inheritance, that's for sure. They came for food and plunder. Though, on second thought, I heard something about a mysterious cave that's supposedly beneath Messales. But I reckon that's just an old wives' tale.
What are you gonna do now?
I hope that inheritance brings us back the happiness we've lost. I hope our suffering ends soon, and we'll see better days again.
I'm going for the inheritance. I hope it's still there.
I'm sure it is. No one would ever think to look where it's hidden. Me, Vendula, and Mikus will wait here for you.